We're very honored to have both of you here today and look forward to hearing your presentations. I'm going to start by introducing Tony. Tony is a program analyst at GSA and is in charge of the GSA program. Okay, so I apologize, we're getting a little everyone on the call, please keep your phone on mute. I think we're getting some feedback. Someone's on. Okay, please check to make sure your phone is on mute. And Tony also runs the veteran business programs for the GSA, and I'll let him give you a more in-depth explanation of his role and responsibilities at GSA. Tony, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Tony Island. I am giving you greetings from the OSBU office here in Washington, D.C. We are part of your team that provides oversight, outreach, and policy development when it comes to small businesses at the national level. I'm joined here today, again, as we said before, by Deidre, who will be handling where questions that are more of a policy direction or more outreach effort. She has more detailed information to be able to assist you and help you by answering the questions that might be more schedule-related, more program-related, or more focused towards local issues in the National Capital Region. She has a presentation that she will be doing for you, and we'll be doing a question and answer session afterwards. Now, to give you a 30-second background on myself, yes, I am the Mentor Protege Coordinator who handles the Mentor Protege at the national level, as well as the Veteran Small Business Coordinator. We are focused here on making sure that businesses, especially small businesses, understand those two programs, they are properly represented, and we reach out to them. My background is I started out in the private sector after out of the military. I have roughly five years of private experience where I worked for small businesses and ran my own small businesses as either a junior vice president or as a senior program manager. I left and came to GSA right at 5 years ago now, and I've been running these programs since. It's very awakening. I have had a very good experience in working with small businesses, especially veteran small businesses, trying to find more ways to outreach and assist you in navigating GSA. So, anything else, I'd like to turn over to Deidre real quick. She's going to give you a little information, and she's a short presentation to share with you. So to give you kind of a kickstart on what we're going to talk about with GSA today, and when she's done, we will open it up to your questions. Deidre, please.
Thank you, Tony. Hello, everyone and everyone in the room. I have some familiar faces. My name is Deirdre White Randall, and as my colleague Tony mentioned, I'm also with the Office of Small Business Utilization. I'm one of the small business specialists. We have small business specialists all throughout the region, and I'm the National Capital Region, but I'm here to cover questions that will speak to all of the region. And I do have a presentation that I'm going to start. I have to go through the whole presentation, but I do just want to give you a feel of who we are at GSA, what we do, and maybe that will help understand what our needs may be. So we're going to start this presentation. Hopefully this is moving. So as I said, understand who we are as GSA and our agency customers. You'll often hear me of our agency customers because that's a big part of what GSA does. We're here for our agency customers. And hopefully you can also assist us assisting our agency customers. Learn more information about opportunities. So we will definitely get to information about opportunities. And the differences in the GSA programs. We can discuss that, particularly if questions come about that. I won't go through that portion of the presentation, but we definitely can discuss any questions. And first thing you need to know is what our current mission is. So GSA's mission is to deliver the best value in real estate, acquisition, and technology services to government and the American people. That's our mission, and that's telling you basically what it is that we do. Everything around real estate acquisition and technology services, GSA is doing, and we're doing that for our customer agencies as well as for ourselves as an agency. We're mostly known for the GSA Schedules program, but there are numerous ways of working with GSA, and not just the GSA Schedules program. So definitely I wanted to, give you information. Now break down GSA as an agency, how we're doing the work that we're doing. We have Federal Acquisition Services, and we call them FAS or FAS. FAS oversees our commercial acquisition. FAS also develops procurement programs for products, services, and technology. And those of you who have a GSA schedule, either or those of you in the room, the FAS division runs our GSA schedule program as well. The building service manages construction, architecture, real estate, and interior design, PEAS also develops procurement programs for construction, architecture, real estate, and interior design. We have GSA staff offices.
Sorry to interrupt for just a second. We're waiting for the slides to load for the webinar. Everybody in the room can now see the slides. The people on the webinar can't see the slides. Okay, but do we want to advance? Excuse me for just a second. I was thinking is while we're waiting for that to load, just so that we can go ahead and advance the slides through the webinar, let's go around the room and make a couple of introductions.
That's great.
People on the phone make introductions. So,
that sounds good.
We'll start with Dennis.
Yep, Dennis Smith, Project Director for the...
Sorry, you'll have to speak up because we only have the microphone in the phone. I'm sorry.
I'm Dennis Smith, Project Director for the Capital MBDA Business Center.
Hi, Fulton Revere Group. I'm Vice President of Business Development.
Hi, my name is Kalenda Franklin, Vice President, Civilian Market for Data Solutions and Technology.
Hi, Rebecca Holman with Data Solutions and Technology, Business Development Analyst.
Hi, I'm Patricia Luna, Federal Advisor to the MBDA Federal Procurement.
Mark Smith with KBTS Technologies. We're an IT application development company.
With MBDA, the manager.
Okay, and I retired from GSA in 2002 after 30 years at NCR in acquisition. I'm business development manager for Seco Contractors in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Outstanding. Okay, everyone. For the folks on the phone, we are waiting for the PowerPoint to load into the webinar, but everyone has been sent the file. So if they're able to successfully get that loaded in a few minutes, it looks like it is coming up now. While we're waiting for that to be 100% ready, let's go ahead and go through the folks on the phone. If you could just please introduce yourself, your name, the name of your company, and the MBDA Business Center that you're affiliated with.
Good afternoon. Elma Demery with Allied Associates Commercial Floors out of San Antonio, Texas area. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Aida Dismondu with the Detroit Business Development Center in Michigan.
Good afternoon. Mark Prague with the Houston MBDA Business Center.
Peyton Powell with Allied Associates Commercial Floors, based out of Houston.
Farlane with Town Services, Houston, Texas.
From Telecom Technology in Puerto Rico.
I'm Lloyd James with Projects Consultant with Sobra.
Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
Ok, non te saber si ellos son Puerto Rico MBDA Center.
Anyone else?
Hi, Steve Barber, Barber and Associates, Rapid City, South Dakota.
Good afternoon. Mike Zeke, Eastern Instructional Systems, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Javier Viera from Telephone Technology of Puerto Rico.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad you could all join us. Claudia's got the PowerPoint presentation now loaded, and you should all be able to see that on the webinar. If you don't mind, please put your phones back on mute. And this is a very informal presentation, so if you have a question and you'd like to ask it, it's okay to interrupt with a question, but I think that our speakers will probably be breaking for questions at some point during their presentation as well. But we do want this to be interactive. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. That's what we're all here for, is to get your questions answered.
Okay. What I'm going to do is recap what I was speaking of on screen, and really just breaking down GSA to our Federal Acquisition Services and what they do, our Public Building Services, and also to mention we have GSA staff offices, and they have a wide range of opportunities through the missions that they have within their offices. So that includes financial policy, leadership, IT services and solutions, and internal and external communication. And really to describe GSA the way that GSA is working now, to give you a really good picture, is our central office and the staff offices and those acquisition operations, they are providing the needs and services for our regional offices internally. So if we do desk in Region 1, then our acquisition office and central office will go ahead and do that. Now, regional offices are providing those needs for our agency customers, or the properties that we own, that we lease, and those tenants in those properties. So the idea of how, when you're filtering GSA and how to work with GSA, hopefully that helps you understand where to look for opportunities based on what opportunities you're looking for. And to give you a background of where we go in the spending arena, in fiscal year 2013, the agencies together combined spent about $461 billion. GSA was $8.6 billion of that $461 billion. This gives you, again, a picture of the agency and our spending. I know you can't see this, and I need my glasses to see you, what we're spending on. I really just wanted to break it down, have an idea of our top 5 spends. And this information is from usaspending.gov, so if you have not utilized that site, it really is good information for you to get to that, which they are any agency. Now, in fiscal year 2013, our top spends were on vehicles, believe it or not. Support, professional services was next in line. They had our information and telecom services, alteration, and the construction of office buildings. So our 5 spends in fiscal year 2013 fit that order. Just a question, why are we spending so much on vehicles? Why do you think that is? Anyone even have an idea? What vehicles are we buying?
Transitioning your fleet to newer vehicles.
That are yes.
I love that.
And I brought that out because GSA is taking the lead on sustainability and energy efficiency. We really are being that front runner in sustainability. So it was key to start replacing all our fleet with the energy efficient fleet. So that's why you see such a big buy in 2013 and 2014, because to date, we're still transitioning. That's still the top buy so far to date as of last week. Then support, professional services is next, and that's usually always very high. Those on schedule, you know how popular the mobile schedule is, and that's where those services come from. And then the next popular schedule, well, the first is schedule, but the next in line is IT and telecom services, Schedule 70. And we have repair and alteration of office buildings because that's key to what we do. And additional support services that are just not as categorized as the first category that we have there. I really just wanted to give an idea of what we're spending on, how we're spending these days, and how our office is set out based on mission. And just, we do have actually 12 regions because central office is considered now the 12th region. We have 11 regional offices, and if you want to do business with GSA, definitely, number one, go to our GSA website and learn about not just GSA, the GSA homepage, but go to that region. Look at what's happening in that region. One tip that I want to give you, update our home pages regionally, and whatever's going on, whatever's trending at the time, it's probably going to be flashing on that page. That's the newest flash that's popping up. Whether it's that regional administrator gave a speech on something, that's going to help you see, well, what's happening in that region, as well as what's happening with GSA in general. So just letting you know that here are our 12 regions, which also covers, as you see, the Caribbean and Region 2, cover the Pacific Rim, including Guam, and where else in Region 9? Hawaii, Region 9. So this covers, hopefully, a way for everyone to reach out to GSA in our region. And pretty much at this point, I'm going to stop right now and pass it over to you, and we could maybe start taking some questions and start talking about opportunities.
Sure. Okay. Chair here. Well, we open up a little bit now to find out what you're interested in and where your interests are for. Number one, working with federal procurement, specifically with GSA if possible. But if you have questions that pertain to other government agencies and particular policies, if we don't know the answer, we'll try to help direct you. Now, I'm going to, real quick, go back to the presentation. I think you realize the valuable information that you just gave you. From using USAspending.com, that's a very valuable planning tool. What that allows you to do, it allows you to get to see where you fit in the acquisition process when it comes to what services do you provide. Look at your NAICS codes. Look at where money is being spent. Perfect. You were spot on with that. Also, another thing I'd like to jump on, for those of you in Puerto Rico, hola, ¿cómo está? I want to let you know in Region 2, Ms. Janice Bracey is a very valuable resource for you to reach out to. She is our director there. She is currently, right now, working on an initiative to help promote and assist small businesses that are trying to do work on the island of Puerto Rico, as well as the surrounding area. And when I say surrounding area, I'm also including the Bahamas, but Puerto Rico is the real focus here. Again, we'll make sure you have our contact information, and I will make sure if you send me an email, or I can work it through you if you wish, we'll reach back to you, and I will make sure that she is able to get in touch with you and vice versa. But it'd be something very good for you to have, because I want you to know at the national level, there is an emphasis pushing down to the island to make sure all have not been forgotten. Now, I'd like to open it first to everyone in the room who I've been neglecting and not looking at, so I apologize. I was trying to be Mr. Nice here. Are there any questions that you all would like to start us off with while everybody online is thinking? Don't be easy on me, come on.
Any additional thrust towards addressing some of the procurements towards socio-economic organizations, say 8A, veterans, small business, service-disabled? Because lately have been abysmal. It doesn't seem like there was a significant push across the federal government to at least give 5 to 8% of the business to that area.
The question is focused on what is our goal and mission towards making sure that small businesses across the entire categories are being properly addressed and looked out after. I can answer this from a policy level at the national office. There's a major push right now, AA and we've done fine with, and we're still doing fairly well. Our weakness, excuse me, this now has been service-able veteran and hub zone. We're very hard to make sure that we bring those numbers up. My being in charge of the Veteran Small Business Procurement, I've been feeling this push very personal. They're all trying to find areas where there's duplication or overlap, like we have an 8A that happens to be a service-disabled veteran, or service-disabled veteran that might be a hub zone, and making initiative pushes towards that. 3 years ago, we had an outreach event here in the Washington, D.C. area, which was very well attended. We were very pleased. It was to all small business. Excuse me, I got a tickle. It was all small business, but the focus was for service-disabled veterans, and it was for hub zone. That was kind of the put. Everyone was invited. We had very good turnout, and luckily enough, we were able to secure new businesses that were interested in working. But now, a long way of answering your question. Your question is, what our purpose will be moving? The goal for this year is to make sure we hit our service-disabled veteran numbers, which we're close, but we're some issues, and hub zone, which are still about 1% to 1.5% behind where we want to be. Did that question, sir? Or deep enough?
In terms of, I noticed that there's certifying as veterans and you're not veterans. I've noticed that there are issues with
I'd like to know more about that, because now you're in my universe. I'll kick that can all over the place.
That is our universe, and we have it's hard to target the deluge of individuals that are not meeting the minimum certifications, because there's nobody checking to see if these people actually are veterans.
Okay, but on the GSA side, this is what our policy is and how we work. If I have I'm going to use her. Let's say she was the contracting officer that I'm working with, and she has, and now we're not going to talk veteran, we're going to talk service-disabled veteran, so we keep it very clean. She has an opportunity that's service-disabled veteran, and she has, I'm going to make up a number, 10 applied for this opportunity. She goes and she looks. If there's anything she has a question on, if there's something she's not comfortable, she has the ability to pick up the phone, either email or call me, and do what I can to be a secondary resource to give assistance. For example, not a requirement. Everyone familiar with the Center for Veterans Enterprise that does the verification, not certification, verification. To those who might not know the difference online as well, certification is very simple. You self-certify a service-disabled veteran. All I would have to do is go in, check the block on SAM, and say, I am a service-disabled veteran, but I better have the documentation, back it up if I'm ever called out. Verification means that you've gone over to the VA and you have given them a stack of documents about 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick, and they have torn through your business existence for about a month to maybe months, come back and give you the blessing that you are now verified. All right? Just the women program, they have their own verification process. That's very good, because I don't want fraud, because I think that's very unfair. My experience has been there's a lot of misunderstanding of the process. Individuals that, I'll give you a real-world example that came to me, a service-disabled veteran was representing themselves self-certified, because verification is only for VA. Self-certification is for the rest of the government. And AA, but we don't include that because they work on their own universe. Insult, that means they really work in their own universe. I had a company that I was trying to work with, and I found out they declared a fraud. When I started asking questions, I found out they weren't service-disabled veteran, but they were service-disabled from the Navy that gave them their naval retirement paperwork. They never contacted the VA. So in his mind, he was telling the truth. He had not gone through the proper process. So what I did to a friend of mine at the SBA, that individual sat with it. It took about a week. And he was able to get everything in order. He contacted the VA. He submitted his proper paperwork. I think it was about 8 months. He got a form back stating that you have been recognized because he was medically charged and retired from the Navy. He realized that they didn't talk. You're going to have a lot of those. So I'm very careful about using the word fraud. I try to go off the approach that it's a misunderstanding or because there is fraud, but most people are ignorant to a lot of the rules. So we try to inform them, because if you go past that, well, then you're breaking the law. Protect the contracting officer, as well as protect you as other service-disabled veterans to make a good playing field. So that kind of clears that little part up. The focus is still on making sure that for verification and certification that we have covered the entire boundary. Did I not cover that, or is there did I leave anything out? Okay.
That was perfect. Actually, I have a different question.
Jump in.
We have heard from a number of MBDA clients who have 8A Stars 2 schedules.
Mm-hmm.
They do not see a lot of opportunity with that schedule, I think possibly because there are so many awards and there's so much competition, and it seems like the same companies keep winning over and over again. Do you have any advice for companies that are either on GSA Schedule 70 or 8A Stars 2 and haven't had much success and possibly are facing losing the GSA schedule because it hasn't been used in a certain number of years?
Teacher, I'm going to I'll slide over and let you take that one. That's a good one.
No, first for your question for the 8 Stars 2, the Admission Center, the GWAC Center is aware of that situation, and they are looking for ways to make sure the 8A Star 2 awardees are getting additional opportunities. They do realize that there are a lot of the same companies winning task orders, and what is happening with those companies is that now they're growing out of their size. Mm-hmm. So they're no longer 8A qualified. So they grow out of their size normally, and I don't know if this has changed, but the acquisition center will say, okay, now we need to do another announcement to replace them. That's not going to be done this round. They're going to keep those who are still in the program so that they can have additional opportunities, and those who have grown out of it will move on to another contract vehicle or whatever, opportunities they may have now that they've grown out of the 8A. So that's just one option, not option, they are actually following through on this, that they're looking at. It is something that they are aware of. Now, for any schedule holder who is having a problem, your sales requirement, and maybe got that notification, the first one is kind of, just a warning that you may be asked to come off of your GSA schedule because you are not meeting the sales requirement. You should contact your small business, your OSBU office, in whatever region it is. We work with you to really help you find those opportunities and take all the necessary steps to show you doing the best marketing, taking the best marketing strategy approach that you can, and you document all of these things. There was a particular company at the event that Tony mentioned we had 3 weeks ago. I told her, come to this event, document that you've come to this event. You are taking a proactive step. She now kept her schedule. She was on almost like the last week of keeping schedule, but continually she showed what steps she's been what I want to say is we're your advocate, we're your resource. So if you're in that situation, definitely reach out to us, and we will do everything we can to assist you with that.
Fantastic, thank you.
Can I tag on to that question?
Mm-hmm.
Because from what I said, many of them, 8A stars contract holders actually displaced small 8A. I see quite a few of them that have not been 8A for years. They'll live up to that. They take the 8A business larger and more embedded. So I see 8A stars too. For competing the small 8As because they were already in China. But my question really is, I understand the answer to the earlier question that there would be offboarding in 8A stars too sometimes.
Question is there going to be a procedure for offboarding or having companies graduate from the 8A Stars 2 contract? Just for those of you on the call that may not be able to hear.
Out of all fairness, I just had a meeting with the 8 Stars people last week. I was out in Kansas City, and we'll have a meeting next week, a conference call. And this is one of the things that I will bring up and I will ask because I'm curious too. I want to know an individual who runs that program. He will have that answer.
And we also question from the chat.
And I can go back up and give you all that answer.
Someone is also asking if there's an on-ramp for 8A Stars 2 this year or next.
Not that I know of.
Not that we're aware of.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, off-ramp that's a very valid thing.
In discussion.
All people that are rolling off, focus is instead of bringing new people on, use the people that are already existing. So I'm glad you brought that up.
And that's a huge concern for MBDA clients, obviously. Minority Business Development Agency, we have a lot of 8A clients.
And I will tell you, one of the things that's been happening with the 8A recently is, I use this term in the guerrilla marketing. You have 8As out there that they have cracked the code. Like you said, embedded. They walk in, and they've got people going, oh, do you know about this company? Man, they over-delivered and under-promised, and it's like they win, they knock a home run every time they up to bat. It's kind of hard to compete against a company that everybody loves. It's
What if they stars too, and they've been around for 5 or 6 years, and it's shoulder to shoulder with the customer. And maybe 8A awards more by special show.
To give you a perfect example, there is a particular security company that I know that's an 8A service-disabled veteran. That the contract failed in a particular area. They were so disappointed, they called this company and said, can you please come in and save it? And the last year, and they're like, negotiated on the spot, and they came in to take over the last year of the contract to save it for the agency. But what I liked about it was the ethics that came in. The business stepped in. They told the agency, not only will we step in, but who's the subcontractor on the ground being used. Told them, they contacted them and said, here's the deal. We're going to keep you in place, and we're just going to give you management assistance. Anything that was different was who was overseeing, who's watching the watchman. I was very happy that it's in 8A where it was supposed to, because it was an 8A opportunity. But they brought a company that had been doing other things in to give that same oversight and management they give it on other contracts. Now, this small business that's on the ground is benefiting because there's somebody looking over them. I would be surprised if they go into a mentor-protege relationship. It's been that good. It's only been in place for about a month, a month and a half now, but it's already, the last report I heard was that the change was like night and day. That short time. It's nice to see that the system works.
Okay, go ahead and continue, and there's no need to switch places because you're both on camera now.
Oh, okay.
Well, Tony, why don't you talk more about the mentor-protege program
Sure.
since you brought that up?
That's a good lead-in. Thank you. Are you familiar with mentor-protege? Okay. Now, there are 2 mentor-protege programs that are going out there right now. There are protege programs that are agency-specific, and then you have the SBA's Mentor Protege program. On a very simple level, but if we have questions, I'll be more than happy to dig deeper. The SBA has a sanctioned program, but at this time it's only open for 8A businesses to be protege in it. The program is a very successful, very viable program. Second area is Mentor Protege programs that are ran by agencies and open to all small business. Every while you have an agency that had a specific, VA had a program that was only for veterans, but it's on hold right now. So I know the program place are completely open to all small business. Home Security, State Department, GSAs. And the thing is, it's fair game. And I remember correctly, all but one or two are open to large and small businesses to be mentors. She has one of the only last restrictive programs. When I mean restrictive, means to be a mentor in a program, you have to have a GSA schedule or other GSA contracting vehicle to authorize you to be a mentor. Question, sir? Oh. The reason why we did that is it's going to be kind of hard for a mentor to assist a small business in navigating GSA, the federal process. Yes. That was the requirement. Now, excuse me. GSA sanctioned this program 5 years ago to set it up. What it does is on assisting small businesses that want to grow, develop, and mature, and have opportunity to learn how to navigate federal opportunities and to learn to better market themselves through GSA and to do business with GSA. I do a webinar on once a month. My next one is this week. It'll be next week, I believe July 10th. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Am I right?
Well, July 10th.
I guess. Every while even a blind squirrel can find out. 3 o'clock to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. There will be a webinar. I will be doing it. It is open to anyone who wants to participate to learn more about the program. What we break down into program, explain the application process, benefits to both mentor, protege, and to the government, to GSA, and then I'll walk you through these expectations on how. It's very simple. You apply for it. You have to bring your own mentor, if you're a small business, to the table. If you're a larger business, whether large or small, and you wish to be a mentor, like we discussed earlier, I would expect you to do your own research and bring a small business that you would like to train and assist. A little funny. This was 2 or 3 months ago. I had a young lady hold her hand up in a Q&A session, and I've been trying to find a mentor. I go to all these companies, ask them to be my mentor, and none of them will do it. What am I doing wrong? My dark, sadistic humor, I blurted, well, ma'am, will you marry me? And she goes, oh, I don't even know you. And I was like, see, that's what you're doing to these businesses. You're walking up to them and say, will you marry me? And you're scaring them to death. And, of course, everyone laughed. And then this looked at me and goes, you're right, I am. I said, develop a relationship. Some of these businesses, get on with them as a subcontractor, proving yourself. Give yourself an opportunity to have a little bit of runway to where they come to you with the question. You would rather want a business to walk up to you and say, I really think we could work very well with this program. Would you be interested in doing this with us? That's what I'd like to hear. I also want the relationship to be there. We had too many mentor-protege relationships that have been disintegrating, and it's over personality. It's all over a misunderstanding, the lack of managing the expectations correctly. And I will give you a good example of that. When a mentor has this goal, we want to do these things with you, we want to guide you in this direction. The protege says, but I don't want to do that, I want to do this. When the protege doesn't act like they want to learn, then the mentor complains to me, They don't learn. They don't listen. I'm done with this. So they just divorce right there in front of me. So all that time, development, helping them set up has now been wasted. Now I have a mentor that has a bad impression program. I have a protege that feels like they've been left at the altar, they've been failed. All these people that are brokenhearted, when in reality, if they would have managed expectations from the very beginning and shared information and got to know each other better, maybe there would have been a better outcome. For a good story, I can tell you a horror story. But we have been blessed that the program has been moving forward, getting a little briefing. DJ going, you were the dodgy Tony, I go all over the place. We have 32 agreements right now in place. Our goal is to have 150 by the end of the year. It's not that's a number in sand, not in concrete. It's just that's a goal. 150 are manageable by myself, and I have a team of 4 individuals across the United States that assist me, and God bless them. If I ever quit, I'll just flow over and curl up under the table in the fetal position. But let me manage the mentor project agreements across the United States. What we're trying to do is to make sure that we're giving the best customer service to them and answering their questions. An example would be, like our NCR office, I'll have my mentor or my protege will come to me with an issue or a problem, and I'm able to hand them to the NCR office. They can answer the question, point them in the right direction. Because I don't know if you realize the valuable resource that you have in your regional offices. If you come to me and ask me a question of, I've got a problem here, I don't know anybody there. They'll look at me and go, that's nice, and pat me on the head and patronize me. I teach them every morning when she goes in. I walk by me and she waves, they wave at her. That's why this office is so valuable, not just for OSBU, but also for the Mentor Protege program. It puts a face of reality on the program and a true interaction. I'm like I could do this all across the United States by myself. That's a joke. There's no way I could do that. Without a network of people that support, assist, and befriend the program. For example, we've reached over with not just NCR, but with FAST and with PBS, which we talked about earlier, to where they have an interest in promoting businesses, large and small, that they want to grow and develop. And we do that through the Mentor Protege program. Our biggest push, the big deliverable that we've had, has been through Schedule 70, through OFAC. Those are our 900-pound gorilla with construction. Recently, we've started growing in furniture, we've started in security, and what was last one? And telecommunications. Those are the 3 that we're trying to foster a new universe in. Small business participation, we're doing very well in 8A. We have doubled our women in the past year, which is very good. Where I'm hurting is in hub zone. I have 10 hub zones right now. I would love to get that up to 20 before the end of the year. And I have 1 or 2 that are in standby. And I would take them anywhere in the United States. I would just like to see more hub zones.
So, actually, can you just repeat that in case anybody missed it? You are actively recruiting.
I would love to have more hub zones come participate in the Mentor Protege program. It's a blessing to have you. And right before the NA, I approved my last one, which was a trifecta. It was a wound, service-able veteran, 8A hub zone. I was giddy. A business that can perform. They've been around about 4 to 5 years. They've got good traction. And, they're going to be a success. There's not a doubt in my military mind. But like like more hub zones by themselves, because that gives a focus on them. Yeah. What else would be of value to let you know about the program? Really growing forward as recognition from the administration. They are pushing back to me about how can you make this better. They're always looking for another metric on internal development. how am I monitoring, how am I keeping this program aggressively growing. We are right now kind of ballpark between the 4 and 5 of all the mentor protege programs in the federal government size-wise. Very happy with our production. Very good working relationship with the other mentor protege programs. For example, if you were to come to me and you were interested in the mentor protege program at GSA, but the protege you have is really more geared towards doing work at Homeland Security, I'd be more to send you over to Homeland Security and give you the name of the mentor protege coordinator over there, and he'll put you in that direction and put you away. Don't come to our program unless it's in the best interest of the protege and your sweet spot for training. About me, this is not just about GSA, it's about the best for the protege, also the best for the mentor in being able to teach and train and assist. We don't put square pegs in round holes here. Yeah, I still have a private sector mentality. I've only been around 5 years, so I'm still learning how the government really works, and I'm still bumping my head against things. That's why I have all these knots in my head. When I do certain things, they shake their head and pat me on the head and say, "No, Tony, you can't do that." But I just want something that works for everybody. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste tax dollars either. A program that's beneficial to everybody. Questions on mentor protege? Yes, sir.
Two-part question. Number one, the mentor, if I bring a mentor.
Stay informed on government policies impacting your small business with COSI's Advance Your Cause Business Suite.
You would
Tools like smallroads.org and growth e-newsletters work to keep you informed, while Advocacy Committee formulates the public policy positions that best support your business. To learn the ways COSI will advance your cause, visit cosi.org/solution center today. Cleveland Advisors is the real estate and business development finance affiliate of the Greater Cleveland Partnership. CA invests in and supports targeted catalytic real estate and business development projects designed to be investors, which attract further development that improve the character and vitality of our region. Cleveland Plus is Northeast Ohio's only regional marketing campaign promoting Cleveland, Akron, Canton, Youngstown, and all the cities and towns in between. These places business attraction, tourism, talent recruitment, and in-region communications under the brand to showcase the many pluses of our great region. Visit clevelandplus.com or plus.us to find out more about the campaign and learn how you and your company can become a plus in Northeast Ohio. The Commission on Economic Inclusion, a program of the Greater Cleveland Partnership, is a broad group of Northeast Ohio employers and community leaders who are working to make our region's diversity a source of economic strength. We help our core members with diversity and inclusion and achieve results. We offer a wide range of services to promote the growth of minority-owned businesses. Learn how the Commission can help your company. Call 216-592-2213. The Greater Cleveland Partnership, the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Cleveland, focuses private sector leadership and resources on creating jobs and making Northeast Ohio more economically competitive. Through DCP, the business community speaks one voice and supports organizations and initiatives that can spur job creation and investment in Greater Cleveland.
When we were paper,
whether you're
my
a small business,
ground time
a
was
Fortune
7.
500 company, or somewhere in between, the Greater Cleveland Partnership is working for
3 days.
you. For more information about how to become a member, call 216-922-2370. Becoming an investor in the Greater Cleveland Partnership, the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Cleveland connects you and your company to an extensive network of mid-sized and large companies, business leaders, and an array of Northeast Ohio economic development organizations.
Excuse me, pardon me. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Elma Demery with Allied Commercial Floors out of San Antonio. We've got somebody that put phone, I believe, on hold, and
No, we're not sure how to stop that.
COSI's Managed Employees Product Suite will help you handle your human resources challenges with ease.
We just can't hear anything you're saying. I'm sorry.
To help you with the right mix of affordable insurance benefits, workplace safety, manage employee
Break for about 1 to 2 minutes, and I apologize.
/Solution Center today. Introducing the COSI Small Business Solution Center. Products, services, and resources specifically designed to help your small business thrive. From tools and support to help you handle your business's human resource and employee benefits needs to an array of marketing, networking, and educational opportunities, Cozy has the solutions available to tackle all of your small business needs. Visit cozy.org/solution center to learn more today. Networking is the key to building your business, and Cozy's Build Connections product suite makes it easier for you to expand your business network. Our peer-to-peer advisory groups, networking events, and affiliations with local organizations are just a few of the many ways Cozy gives you access to opportunities that will open doors for you and your business. Learn more about our Build Connections product suite at cozy.org/solution center today. Cleveland Development Advisors is the real estate and business development finance affiliate of the Greater Cleveland Partnership. In its 22-year history, CDA has invested over $155 million into nearly 100 projects that have generated over $2.2 billion in overall development for Cleveland. Retaining and attracting top talent is essential for companies and organizations of all sizes. In your talent recruitment efforts, Plus developed livingintheplus.com, a free comprehensive web portal which conveys all of Northeast Ohio's many amenities to your recruits. The site provides useful information on things like finding a place to live, getting professional organizations, and discovering the many ways to enjoy life in the Plus. Your focus is on selling the job. We'll help you sell the region. Visit livingintheplus.com and start recruiting today. The best way to learn is from other business owners who have been in the trenches. From our annual Cozy Small Business Conference to a broad range of educational workshops, Cozy's Expand Knowledge product suite gives you the opportunity to learn from local experts who face the same day-to-day challenges you do. They'll provide practical insight and direct you to valuable resources that can help your business grow. Learn more about our Expand Knowledge product suite at cozy.org/solution center. As Greater Cleveland's Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Cleveland Partnership works to spur job creation and investment in Northeast Ohio. We focus on building economic prosperity in Northeast Ohio by leading and supporting and organizations that improve this climate in the city, region, and state. And make Greater Cleveland a great place to do business, work, and raise your family. Find out how you and your company can become part of building a strong economic future for Greater Cleveland. Call us at 216-522-2370. Keep your business effectively and create new opportunities for growth with Cozy's Generate Biz Products Suite. We offer a range of advertising, sponsorship, and networking opportunities, including more than 100 Cozy-produced events each year. Generate business, broaden your network, and put your business in front of thousands of potential customers. To learn more about our Generate Business product suite, visit cozy.org/solution center today. Don't let overhead stifle the growth of your business. Cozy's Manage Expenses product suite gives you the tools to rein costs and make your business more efficient. From savings on office products, shipping, and payroll services, to our programs designed to reduce your electric and natural gas costs, we have solutions in place to give you immediate savings. More about our Manage Expenses product suite at cozy.org/solution center.
The third
on government policies impacting your small business with Cozy's Advanced Cause Business Suite. Tools like smallbizvotes.org and grassroots e-newsletters work to keep you informed, while our advocacy committee formulates the public policy positions that best support your business. To learn all ways Cozy will advance your cause, visit Cozy.
Are you a GSA schedule holder, sir? What schedule do you hold? 70. Okay. You can find all of the GSA schedule holders for Schedule 70 or any GSA schedule on the GSA e-library. You can put in the schedule number, and then there'll be a link to click to all of the schedule holders. You can sort them by location, by name, by SIN numbers, many different ways. What I add to what Tony just said about going to the GSA e-library, I always take another step in addition, and I do this during my marketing presentation. Go to the ones that are really getting good sales. For the money. So you also want to check out the list. Then we have another online resource for you, which is our schedule sales query. sq.gsa.gov. You can see the sales of any GSA scheduled contractor on a quarterly basis, on the fiscal year basis. So if you're interested in a particular company that's on schedule, also check and see how they're doing on schedule. Yes.
That's a good approach. I like that.
So, having to be a prime. They don't have
Yeah.
to be a prime.
They have to be a prime on their, well,
Or GSA schedule.
yeah, their GSA, they have to own that schedule.
Okay.
But they were a subcontractor on that GSA schedule to someone, they're not eligible.
But it could have been at any government agency.
That they have a Schedule 70 and they're doing work at DOD as a prime, I'm fine with that.
I got it. That's different.
I kind of give my little disclaimer, I'm the approving authority. So, for better or worse, the trusted me to sign and approve them. So, you can just walk me through and make sure I understand it, I sign off. Yeah. Only say no to individuals that are not with the GSAM. There's an issue or a problem that's not in the best interest of the small business. And I'm not just to ask why and figure out. And sometimes it's because you're not a good fit, per se, and that's when I'll turn you over to D or Homeland Security. I've had 8A firms come to me that I asked them SBA because it was in their best interest to go through mentor protege because what had been too stifled because of so many they wanted to do. It's not. It's about you as small businesses. Ma'am.
What is the advantage of the mentor protege vis-a-vis?
No joint ventures program whatsoever. That is an SBA. That's an SBA deal. We do have the luxury of flexibility. That is something controlled by the 8A program. If a joint venture in a mentor protege program, the only way I could ever see it ever be considered, it has in its work, is a mentor goes into a joint venture with another mentor, and under the agreement, they're both using their get some work done. That's our headquarters. Shaw Group and White Turner, both White Turner used for most of their companies, and they were one of our first construction firms to come in. They've already graduated from the program, but an example of how I didn't even know they did it behind my back. I found it after the fact, and the officer called and said, "Oh, by the way, guess what?" I didn't work, but I went back and checked legally. Yeah, but between and protege, I discourage.
Well, in general, with our solicitation procedure, our acquisition procedures, we will solicit to and take in joint ventures. We do that often. That's on a contractor level, on an office level. So yes, we do entertain joint ventures. You need to have your team, your everything in place prior to bonding the opportunity. But yes, we do.
Yeah, I'm only speaking towards the mentor program because I had that went to joint venture with like a business wants to go into joint venture with a service-disabled veteran services and bid on service-disabled work. No, you cannot do that under the mentor project program. They just want to do anything outside of that. Not my concern.
I think they have limitations outside of
Get it. And I also people have the best information. So you had a question earlier. I'm sorry, you kind of got skipped
Oh,
over.
no, that's okay. It was when you were talking about disabled vets, and one of the things I understood, I guess, now my company, we're 8A, so we have sole source ability.
Right.
Why disabled vets have that? I mean, never had that, and why they wouldn't be afforded the same opportunity as the 8A. I mean, they're both, obviously serving.
I can answer that question off the record. In 1999, I was a lobbyist on Capitol Hill, and one of the individual items that was given to me was Law 10650, which established service-disabled veterans. It was I didn't work for 6 days, and handed it to me and said, "This is your baby. Run with it." And I didn't even know where the bathrooms were, let alone anything else. That's how I cut my teeth. I found out the 8A community at that time was that 8A was afraid that if service-disabled veterans just came rushing in, it could possibly destroy the program. And I understand. There was some real nervousness about it. And so had no idea how was it going to be set up. We had an internal fight with what really makes a service-disabled veteran. Because my take on it over, and I got smarter, was 0%. I got to be very careful how I answer this. People looked at me before, because I'm a disabled veteran, I am rated, but you never know my problems, because you just don't know. I had another individual that used to work side by side with me, the same thing, and someone made a comment about, how to be disabled. Well, he pulled his pants leg up, unhooked both of his legs, and set them on the table, and said, "Shall we pick this conversation up now?" There was someone in the room. His name was Tony, too. He would down to break all that ice. We make sure that the 8A community was working well with the service-disabled veteran community. Because back then, 8A was not approving service-disabled veterans in the 8A program because it was, again, a misunderstanding of how it worked. And it's very different. We all had to determine the ground rules. 8A was set up by statute as a goal. Everything was in place, and they never considered veterans as part of that. My argument was veterans are part of that. I guarantee you, if you went to the 8A program right now, I could probably find 20 to 30% are service-disabled veteran like that. Not even search. Some of them self-identify as veteran. They identify more. Find ways, and it took about 3 to 4 years. In 2003, when we did Public Law 108-183, which is that was my claim to fame. That set us aside.
Back, Randy. Hello? We can't hear anything. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Tony?
Can you hear us?
No.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. We're not sure what happened, but if you can't hear, please speak up and let us know. But it is working now, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll just keep going.
Okay.
That's right. I do have a question on team agreements. So at any time, could you please, when there's a minute, I'd like to ask a question. Elma Demery with Allied Commercial Floors in San Antonio, Texas.
We'll take a break in just a moment for questions.
To close up the parity issue, what is happening now, I'm picking on Deidre, and she's going to be my contracting officer. I have a requirement. I need husbands desperately. So he looks and says, well, she's going down to 8A. She has all these businesses. She has the ability now to find that opportunity towards the area of weakness, where we fail to help us out. Because without that before, the company could come in and say, oh, no.
Oh, you're gone again.
You're again.
That we're trying to go and
Couldn't hear you.
so they were find service disabled veterans that were also 8A, those that were also 8A. They were trying to work within the system. That's a really long answer to their ability to do it now, but it has to be managed with common sense. So fill her in there to try to help out for time, but.
Apparently we're losing audio again. I'm going to get somebody. Can now?
Yes.
Right.
Maybe it's our phone.
Yes.
Yeah, there was teaming.
Yes, you had a question. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Demery with Allied Commercial Floors in San Antonio. I had a question regarding team agreements. You mentioned joint ventures, and joint ventures are rather expensive, having to go through attorneys and whatnot. Team agreements. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
There are different types of team agreements. So what type of agreement or what type of arrangement are you referring to?
In my situation, it was I was trying to sign a team agreement, or we were trying to sign a team agreement with a contractor to do together on a project at an Army base, specifically Fort Hood. And Fort Hood came back and said, we do not accept team agreements, we only accept joint ventures. And this was a project in which the majority of the project was flooring. However, there were some replacement of some ceiling tiles and some painting, which we do, but the general contractor that I would team with was already doing work on those, but they rejected our agreement for the purpose of just rejection, I guess. They said they just do not accept them, period. That's Fort Hood. I don't know if that's every base or every post, or is it something that happens specifically, or that's something that is controlled at location. I mean, here in San Antonio, we're joint base now, so all bases, including Army, are all together. Whether Army, Air Force, everybody is under one huge umbrella. Fort is still standing alone, and they're refusing to accept a team agreement on a project like that, which we could have bid. I, as a flooring contractor, again, majority of the project, would not be able to do that job because I don't do ceiling tiles and I don't paint. But their 8A company, general contractor, which I'm 8A as well, we together could have done it. They would not let us bid the project.
I'll let you start.
Okay. I answered the, at least from my part before I hand it back to Dietrich.
Thank you.
From my experience, I know, is that each command does have the flexibility to manage their contracts the way they see fit, as long as they're in accordance with the FAR, if it's DOD. Find out is their rules and requirements and how they're structuring their have a partnership agreement, have fired and blown up in their face in the past. Therefore, not restrictive enough. They're too, I'm not going to use the official loosey-goosey term, but they're open-ended, or they do not have enough, they're not rigid enough to sure they can be enforced. That's where you can have an issue. Make sure that you reach back to the contracting officers and find, well, what will you agree, what will you allow us to participate in, and explain yourself as a 8A firm, and then you can ask, would a joint venture be more acceptable? If they say yes, I would reach out to your closest development center, and I'd go into that negotiation and talk to your 8A handler.
And also the type of support that you should be able to get from your local MBDA business center or an SBA center. There are programs that are able to help you one of the things we may be able to do is get some templates for contracts, or you can have similar contract language, but we still recommend you work with an attorney to draft a contract that is stand legally, because it's a very dangerous area to get into. One thing I wanted to mention, I don't know I apologize if you already talked about it, I missed contractor teaming arrangements. GSA still opportunity.
Oh, no, I will.
There's another, we're going to be discussing in a moment, that is a way that companies that have GSA schedules can team together. That can be very advantageous, and if not aware of CTAs, it's going to be enlightening.
I'm very interested to find out. Thank you.
Sure, this is Deirdre, and I did first want to address GSA in general, and we do partnership agreements, contracted team, and I leave one, and I know I'm leaving it out, but I can't think of it right now. But don't really know, and we're gonna talk about contracted teaming next. If you're really going on other than 8A joint venture opportunity through the SBA, where you're not going to get somehow legal involved. Teaming, ever a process with another company, you want to make sure both members or all members have their, crossings dotted, and the contracting officer wants to know, be clear on responsibilities. So sometimes, I don't know if you will avoid that, but we do at GSA work with the teaming agreements that I mentioned. So that leads us into contracted teaming agreements. And for any GSA schedule holder, and you can be on the same schedule. It could be a GSA Schedule 70, a GSA Mobis schedule holder, that they want to come together and provide a solution. GSA or one of the agency customers, they can form a teaming agreement in order to do so. The key is that they both have to have an active GSA schedule, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter schedule they're on, coming together to team because they're bringing complementary, skills together for an opportunity, but you can't go on contracted process. So that is another option GSA utilizes on a regular basis. We also currently updating, and that hasn't been completed, for additional guidelines, really to open up even more a contracted teaming agreement. So that is an option. What we're updating, because it's going to be updated so that both team members are getting full credit for their sales. Both team members have the opportunity, they both can talk, communicate, negotiate equally with that contracting officer. So it's not that one team is taking the lead and the other team is stepping back. Both team members are equally responsible. Application on guidelines on doing that, we're in the process of rolling out now.
Each team would credit from a past.
Thank you.
And those are the issues that we're currently making sure it is clear in our instructions. So yes. So
I'm going to make a statement, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this, but in the past, where small business TAs or contractor teaming agreements be a tremendous advantage for complicated requirements where there is a pretty small business may not be able to meet all of the requirements of the contract. For example, have offices in several different areas across the country, or meeting certain SIN codes or labor categories. Maybe you have 2 of 5 labor categories or 3 of the 5 labor categories that are required, and by adding 2 companies CTA requirement, and you can all shift past performance. And hopefully, we need Can you?
Here now.
Okay. So just very briefly, I just wanted to summarize and say that through a CTA, and Deidre's going to correct me if I'm wrong, through a CTA, it's in GSA's eyes, one or companies come together and become prime. They have to have GSA schedules, and they all have to sign this CTA, contractor teaming agreement, but it's a much easier way than a joint venture to form a new prime of multiple companies and they have with the customer. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So that really, I love, Joe, that you brought to point. That's a good way for, including, we were talking about businesses on schedule with low sales, teaming with, bringing their specialty to that team and complementing another contractor on schedule. That is another way that we recommend and we encourage our schedule holders to really, market their opportunities with GSA.
One of our clients shared with the MBDA Federal Procurement Center members that one of the keys to his company's success, and this company now does over $200 million a year in federal business, one of the keys to their early success was they were one of the early adopters of the contractor teaming agreement when very few vendors were using that arrangement. And again, it enables a small business to have much more capability, a team of small businesses.
The only bad thing I've seen from a CTA has been if you get more than 2 individuals involved, and the experience I'm giving you is 3 service-disabled veteran firms. God bless them, all 3 were alphas. Everybody wanted to be in charge. And they were like bumping into each other, and there was no real clear definition of roles and responsibilities. And they got the work done, but it was, from what I was told by the contracting officer, it was like pulling teeth. It's that, they would come back and then all 3 were giving a different answer by email, acting as if I'm in charge. And it's like, can you please tell me who? And they ended up having to do with whatever schedule they worked off of. If it was like the Schedule 70 or what, that's the person that will take the lead. That was kind of like they weren't managing expectations. They had to kind of up as they went. This is when I first started, back in 2009, beginning of 2010. So these companies, God bless them with the best intentions in the world, just didn't realize how they'd be butting heads. My recommendation is, like Deidre said before, just plan it out properly, just talk to each other and maybe make your own agreements. If I'm the MOBIS side, if it's the opportunity, I will take the lead and I share all the information with you. We will work together, and vice versa. If it's the 70, you vice versa.
Now, I'm going to transition a little because we're here to talk about opportunities as well, and I want to get to you the information on how to seek out GSA opportunities. So what I have on the screen, and can those of you, they can see on the webinar, is the GSA forecast of contracting opportunities. Hopefully everyone knows how to locate this on our website. GSA homepage will link you through to the GSA forecast of contracting opportunities. What is wonderful with GSA, nationwide, agency-wide, we update this forecast quarterly. We're in the process of updating it for the 4th quarter. So what you saw in the 1st quarter that you may have been following and you may not have known what happened, the status of that should be updated now. We always provide you with a point of contact for a particular opportunity. We also provide you with your OSBU, your Small Business Technical Advisor. I'm a Small Business Technical Advisor in the region of that opportunity. So if you're having a hard time getting through to the point of contact for the actual project, we ask that you do that first. Reach out to us and say, I'm interested in this particular opportunity. I can't get through. And we will find out the status of that opportunity for you. If we can make a soft introduction to that contracting officer, project manager, whoever it may be, we will do that as well. But we will let you know that this is just not stuff we throw out there once a year and that's it. We do update it every quarter. Internally, I will tell you, we even have quarterly meetings with acquisition staff. I mean, fast and then staff. MBS, separate meetings, and our staff offices. We go through it, and we say, what's the status of that? What's going on with this? We talk about the acquisition strategy. If they say, well, to be determined, and as Tony mentioned, we're really looking for hub loan opportunities, services, veteran opportunities, we will ask them, is a way that this opportunity can be filled with those social and economic categories. So we really go through this with our acquisition staff. So what you're looking at is up to date. I also recommend that you follow the opportunities. We're in the fourth quarter?
Yes.
So we're in the fourth quarter. You're going to see things here. If it's put on this forecast, that means we have a need for it. But that need, we may run out of time, money, resources, whatever it may be, before this fiscal year ends. But that opportunity, we still have that need. So follow it through to fiscal 15 and be ready for that opportunity. So I really encourage you to look at the forecast, to look at those opportunities, to use that as an introduction, if anything, a contracting office, and let them know you're there. I think this is the best way. When you're reaching out to our acquisition folks or our PMs, if you're talking about opportunity, you will get interest. It's just saying, I do this, do you have an opportunity for me? That, because busy, I need to fill this. So if you call and you're talking about that, then okay, you sparked my interest. So if you're just asking me, is it for us? Yeah, I don't have time to figure out for you. That's what they're thinking. So this gives you a great opportunity to see what the needs are, and talk to those needs, and talk about the opportunities that you may have that's similar to those needs. So I really just wanted to encourage you. I wanted to show you where it is. In your presentation, this link will actually, this link will take you there where it says FY 2014. If you click on that link, it will take you there. And as I said, we will be updating it in August as well. This was updated in June. So this is active through the middle of June is when we updated this. Even if you contact them and, we procured that, use that open door to say, well, what similar opportunities do you have? Because our company specializes in X, Y, Z, and, and run with it since you've now gotten someone's attention. In addition, I want to talk about, we have certain needs, certain opportunities. One of the things that we find, and maybe as a group here, you can tell us, give us feedback on. Sometimes from our acquisition folks, I was just assisting a contracting officer yesterday and this morning, put out something on eBuy, and got no responses. Many of you I think I brought it here, are into VoIP systems. And this is not my language, so I don't talk this language. But literally, she put this out on eBuy, and time by, and the only two real responses she got was, "Thank you, I don't have time for that." And she said, "What do I do?" It's both. It's services. It's providing training. We're really trying to help an agency transition over to VoIP from their.
I'll give you a real look.
Thanks. I want to hear it.
I was going to ask this as you're going along. The working horizon of these in most cases does not allow us to prepare in any way. Pop up.
Okay.
Most of us being small businesses don't have the resources to address it. From a business perspective, it's hard to forecast.
Okay.
And I don't want to speak for the crowd, but that is my perspective on this. We follow it, and I have two ladies who go through them pretty diligently, and it's just too fast for us to react.
Spot on, because it's also such an agency with cabinet marketing.
Okay.
So you have you have to use discretion to propose with others.
Yeah, your B&P dollars are slim and null sometimes.
Right. So you're going after something nothing they don't know you, you don't know them, and you have about a week to respond.
In our minds, the P-win is very low.
So the time frame, the fact that you don't know the agency.
Yes, information that could come out earlier so that you can agree.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you, how far does this go out into Horizon?
Goes out to the end of the fourth
In the
quarter.
year. Things that might still be on here from their first
Fiscal year.
quarter.
3 months, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
fiscal year. But I appreciate that feedback. I'm telling you, the need is still there. This contractor is pulling her hair out. What do? Nobody's
What is the timeline for that?
baby it. And I'm going to make sure I'm giving the right information.
So to marshal a bid,
120. Well, see, and you want the timeline for the task to be completed?
no, the time to react.
When your B&P has to be completed, you bid.
I think she gave about 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. She did do was break it down, though she wanted but what would drive be, et cetera, et cetera. She got nothing back except for.
Did an RF, can I ask a question? Did an RFI come out? Because then, I don't know, again, I don't want to speak for the crowd. We then start tracking.
Yeah, I think an RFI came in on this, it went on eBuy. Sounds like it was popped
And
up.
I just want to make sure, I don't want to say for sure. I think I'm missing a page.
Many times an RFI will come out very generic and the contract vehicle as well.
This is not generic at all.
No,
This is what is. And so I only say to you, I love the fact that you're giving me this feedback. If you can be very clear and specific to the contracting officer when you do respond, so they know what they need to do to improve. If there's something restrictive about this opportunity, they need to know. The need is still there as we.
Respond by this RFI. This is a service-disabled veteran, small business opportunity. Did you know that nobody responded? All of them told me, well, we thought somebody else would, so we didn't worry about it. It ended up going full and open competition. Nobody responded. I was so angry.
Well, there's one thing, the first thing we look at is it an area that we have past performance?
You know, all the ones that I did, I knew they could do the work. I did the research on my own going through. None of them just responded. It broke my heart.
What I'm saying from the flip side, most of the service-disabled veterans, when they do apply for this stuff, the first thing they want to do is make sure that they have some kind of teaming arrangement with somebody that is known in that organization. A brand new organization, say I just started an organization as an example. If I go to an agency that doesn't know me, it's going in the trash.
Well,
I can guarantee
this one that I had was a slam dunk. 113 was going to probably win because that's how desperate they were to get a service-disabled veteran in. And when one of them replied, I couldn't believe it. It's like we put free food out there and nobody took it.
I give another example. We were recruited to actually, we really want you to bid on this process. And it was supposed to be some disabled veterans set aside. And they just needed 3 competitive bids.
I've heard that before, too.
It happens a lot. When you're spending that kind of money, I'm saying it's a very
I will tell you, I have asked that question before. I have to be very careful how I answer this. She's just going to laugh at me, elbow me in a moment. I asked the contracting officer up front, am I sending this out because you already have someone you really want to work with? And I can promise me, no, Tony, I really am looking for talent. Because I never want to jeopardize putting myself out there to look like I'm a setup. And they're all starting to see it. No one has ever lied to me yet. And I appreciate that. But I understand that is a concern. That's why I ask those questions. And
That's why it's very, very important to have a relationship. So sometimes the contracting side or the programming side, you just keep moving. Because you see thousands of opportunities, and you have your core capability, and then in a no-go decision.
You're in reality.
Yeah.
Well, the current environment is, so nobody's going to create, especially on
risk or mitigated.
Federal agencies, don't bring me in with new unknown companies. So that's
Yes, sir. And let me give you a rationale behind my statement. Reach out to me, like, Tony, I really only have 20 service things. I've got to have fresh blood. Some companies that we can look at.
Okay. You mean quota?
They need fresh blood for capability because this is very dirty. It's almost become inbred to where they've only got these certain companies that do things a certain way. They're good companies, but the contracting officer would love to have a different option. So I try to say, well, here, like, I went to an event, I met these 3 companies, here's their contact information. You know, if they get an email from that company, the 3 companies are like going, yeah, Tony, you know, you're giving me this, but I'm trying to help you crack to a new agency. It doesn't happen overnight, and these agencies really are, they're hungry to get new businesses available. There's a guarantee of work, but there is a guarantee that they want to know you exist. Very blanket, so please don't think that is like for any, this is years worth of, and I know you've been getting the same thing.
Well, what I want to add is that our agency has a competition advocate. It is important, yes. There may be a set of companies, whether they're service disabled or AAs, in our region, lots of AAs, that we know we can go to, they're going to get the work done. But that competition advocate must make sure that we are clearly, when possible, competing or allowing additional small businesses, additional 8As, additional service-disabled veterans, hub zones, which we're begging for. We're begging to compete for opportunities. So not just to meet a quota, it really is to follow the regulations and competition even among small businesses. That is the proper procedure. So,
we got to keep it healthy. We keep it vibrant.
And it keeps things vibrant, innovative. We don't, new solutions. We are looking for.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to our attention. We'd be happy to send out. I can pick up one client for sure.
Please. If you give me information, I'll find them. She posts it again, and so you will know. And
yep.
If it's like we don't want to do it, if you just be clear with her, this is the reason why. She might say, okay, that's it, and make changes, okay?
What if they come back and say, this is not realistic opportunity? You're asking for things that can't be done, this way.
Not my world, so even though I looked at it, I don't know if it's restricted or not, because it's not my world.
I didn't even look. I'm not going to waste time. I'm not going to pretend like I'm smart.
So we have a question on the chat. They were asking for the solicitation number of that opportunity, but any information you can send us on that opportunity, we'll distribute to our
Okay, great.
And that goes for all the MBDA business centers. Once we get more information on these opportunities, we'll distribute it to all of the centers throughout the MBDA network.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Would it make sense to get more VPAs out and IDQs out if you're trying to bring in an influx of new competition, and that competition can find on the task order level?
What's your name, sir?
Jason Scarborough.
So just took me to another area that I intended to
I was
cover
getting ready to say,
anyway.
do you have a copy of her presentation here? He's a plant.
One of the other things that I wanted you to be aware of with GSA, and I'm sure with many agencies, but I can only speak of GSA, is that we are moving more to IDIQs within a particular industry, a particular service, a particular area. We are moving towards BPAs. I'm sure most of you know about strategic sourcing and the executive order to really be more efficient in our purchasing. GSA, again, is another area where we're taking the lead in that. What I actually did, came prepared, is when I looked through our forecast and I looked at the IIQ opportunities that we have out there now, they really ranged in all areas. And I'm trying to make sure I have the one that is for the IQs. Yes, this is the IQ one. For stations, for HVAC, for IT services in particular, for I have no idea, seismic renovation. I'm just not my world. For contact center services. So we are doing IDIQs. That is the way we're going. We're trying to get a good range of all the socioeconomic categories on those IDIQs, and that's the pushback, or not necessarily pushback, but the role that our OSBU office plays. Because if a line office wants, they're saying, okay, we're going to do an IDIQ to make sure we have a rotating list of competent companies that can do this. We in the OSBU office want to make sure that you have a sufficient amount of service-disabled veterans on there. You have a sufficient amount of 8As. You have a sufficient in the IQ if they to set aside to one of those categories. That be done. But that's where we're going. So you asked the question that I definitely wanted to cover. If you want to do work with GSA, understand that that's also the area that we're exploring now.
It's also easier to track if we're meeting, and it comes from the senior administration, our youth directors or regional administrators that will say, well, what do I have to fix this? We can say, well, you have a goal of, this for this particular hole, this is how you're going to fill it. This was our problem with service-disabled veterans in hub zones because their pushback was, we don't have enough vehicles to help us. So we have been trying everything we can to assist from our level in central office down to OSBUs and the director level out to the acquisition teams. At these meetings quarterly. Any questions? I will jump into one thing on the IDIQ. It's amazing how many IDIQs have been used now for mentor-protege. Company A, which is a large small business that's graduating from their size standard probably in the next year or two, that are looking at making good friends and having strategic partners for the future, request one or sometimes two proteges. The trend has been service-disabled veterans usually bring in two smaller disabled veteran companies. And that's been the trend lately over the past, let's say, maybe 9 months. And I also call it keeping the community alive and keeping it going. As they graduate out, they're in a footprint of these two businesses behind so that they continue on. They've got a strategic partner back if they want to stay bidding. I've had great 8A firms that have taken their 8A partner that's in the SBA mentor program, and they've come to me and said, we're going to graduate next year. We'd like to be in your program to continue with this. Our focus, instead of doing business, is GSA business. That's logical to me. That makes perfect sense. They went from the macro to the micro. they help getting established, and they know what they're doing, they have their infrastructure, they want to learn how to get on schedule and do something. So it goes down to what the businesses need.
Right.
But it's alive and well. IDIQs are good.
May I ask a question?
Sure can.
How many of you want to do business with GSA?
I'll better see all your hands up.
Then, I know a few of you in the room. I don't know most of you, so I expect, especially those of you who are in my National Capital Region, that I will hear from you. Those of you who are in the other regions, that we can provide you with our point of contact, our colleagues in those regions want to work with you. We want to help you maneuver GSA and how to work with us. If you're fast, if you're IT folks, and you haven't met with our assisted acquisition services, let's get that done for you so you can find out ways that you can help our customer agency. So I'm just putting it out there, and hopefully you'll share our contact information, and we can set something up. I do teleconferences, by the way, so, and I'm really early, so from 7:30 to 9:30, I'm open for teleconferences and definitely willing to help you.
And just so you know, those of you that are online have a deal that Mondays, Tuesdays, and I work until 8 o'clock at night at the West Coast. And on Friday, I work until 9 o'clock. On Thursday, I only work till 7:30 because there's something I like to watch on television. I like to get ready for my football's coming, baby. Do not call me during Thursday night football. But the rest of the way, I have no problem being a little bit later because I've felt it's a heartbreak if you got someone on the West Coast that feels they've got to call by 3 o'clock to get a question answered. Now, I don't mind. I mean, I'll do 5 o'clock, your time, and I'll try to get back with you the next day. To help those of you on the West Coast or those of you in Puerto Rico, if you reach out to me, I could call earlier because daylight savings time, you change the hours, it gets a little stupid there for the island. So I'm more than happy to help you. If you reach out to me, or I'll make sure you get Janice Bracey's information so you can reach out to her.
I have a question from the online chat. Someone, Allied Associates, is asking they need help in getting in contact with their local GSA rep. Where can they find that information?
Sure. GSA homepage, and I think, did we link this in our presentation?
What do you call this? This is great. You're not holding this.
Yeah.
Let's go to the
GSA homepage. There is a link, most requested links, and one of them is Assistance for Small Business, or Assistance for Business. It doesn't even say small. This is for businesses. That will link you to all the regional OSDBU offices. It also has great information on all our programs. But that the link will be, and I can, if anyone emails me, I can point you in the right direction and provide you assistance.
Okay. Do you more to your presentation, or are you done?
How much do we have?
We've got about 10 minutes left. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. Does anyone on the call, does anyone online have any questions, any last-minute questions? Or any room for that matter?
Receiving some calls?
I'm sure we'll be receiving calls at all hours.
Do I have any prospective mentors in the room?
And Elma, again with Allied Commercial Floor out of San Antonio, can we have all of your contact information?
We will get that to everyone on the call and to all the MBDA business centers.
I'll send you the link.
It'll be very busy and very popular.
Yeah.
I'll try to put a slide up with their contact info, but if not, rest of you will be getting their information by email. And I want to say that this has been a tremendous session, and you both have really provided a lot of very useful information, and we're very, very grateful for all the time that you've given us, and for being available, and for making your agency available to all the businesses represented by MBA. And just we wanted to give you a small token of our appreciation. And
can I discuss one
yes,
thing?
I'm sorry.
And now that I came to this page, I just wanted to point out when I see this page, our interactgsa.gov website. That is an excellent website for not only for you to stay in touch with what's going on with GSA, what our initiatives are, but also to forth your own information, become a subject matter expert, communicate with our program managers because they're on there and they're talking back and forth, seeking your input, seeking your opinion, and it's really a way. If you feel nobody in GSA knows who I am now, start interacting on Interact.
Start making some friends.
And they will know who you are. So I just really wanted to promote that because it works. It is great.
You'd be surprised how many questions that I get that come back through this from individuals that want to be in the Mentor Protege program, or veterans that this problem came up and I want to bring it to your attention. I had no idea it was happening. This is how I'm finding out. So people paying attention, people are listening. This is a beautiful tool to use. Well, it's a brave new world.
Thank you.
Oh, no more.
Thank you, everyone, and we conclude the webinar and the presentation. Thank you very much, and we will be distributing the information. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.